Ladies and gentlemen, I think both babies should apologize. Asking her to apologize for slavery is like asking her to apologize for Pearl Harbor. I think both babies should apologize. Welcome and congratulations for making it to June 17th and surviving to June 17th. Things are weird, man. And this is totally an Asteroid Fight Club meeting, and I am your planetary defense commander, and it hurts. Halted for news pending. And, my whole pick, what I wanted for 2016, or for 2020, was Tulsi Gabbard and Elizabeth Warren and Vice President. But what if this is all a giant distraction from Aunt Jemima? They've repackaged it or whatnot. And so, thank you to George Wallace and the person with the, I think both babies should apologize comment, because 2020 is doomy AFRN. Yeah. And it's like Wall Street, Republicans, and Democrats in our country, which for me is the United States of America, are trying to trick us into getting a herd immunity. And that strategy is probably going to go really bad. And so Beijing just got some new cases, and so they locked everything down real fast. That ain't any warning, really. So Beijing looks crazier than what she saw, Jennifer Zhang, in Wuhan in January, because they just basically said, okay, everybody's locked down and with no real warning. And so just like in early February, I was trying to warn all y'all, we were going into lockdown in mid-March, and I had like 50% of the people, if not more, telling me that it was a hoax or no worse than the flu, and I didn't know what I was talking about. And then we went in lockdown mid-March. And well, we've had no real national lockdown strategy, and here's the stalwart saying daily COVID case counts in California are still trending higher. Part of that may be due to increased testing, but there is a sense, I feel like, as a country, our strategy now with the virus is to just tweet through it, which he wrote that June 5th. And we haven't had a strategy. So it does feel like they're just trying to distract and herd everyone into herd immunity. And I am your planetary defense commander, Star-Lord Nuthor 7, the T. And so I'm trying to do what I can to save lives, because this reminds me of Schindler's List, which is an amazing movie. It says, whoever saves one life saves the world entire. So yeah, I'm here for you. And the whole thing about the plague is that if we would have all been wearing masks from the time that it broke out, we would have kept the death rate to a super minimum across the globe. If the world would have just been unified and like, okay, everybody wear a mask now. That is not how it has gone down. And so every country has had different strategies dealing with the coronavirus, and some doing much worse than others, including my country, the United States of America. And so shit's like crazy everywhere. North Korea blew up a Korea, what was it, like a coffee shop? No, it wasn't a coffee shop. It was just like a Korean, we're going to work it out building. And so they blew that building up. I don't think anybody died. And it was on North Korea territory, but South Korea paid for it. So that was weird. And then there was a clash at the China-India border, and they have rules, if I understand correctly, that in the one zone, you're not allowed to bring firearms. And so you have to bring like knives, swords, guns, clubs, whatever. It's like a Warriors movie or something. And so like 3 people died in a clash between. I'm not laughing at it. It's just that's how absurd 2020 is. So 3 Indian soldiers got killed when they bludgeoned each other with the medieval type weapons because you can't have guns in the zone, which is, I just learned that. And that was like, what? Okay, this whole, world at war with each other creates really strange situations. And then the Bank of Japan, like 2 days ago, was like, hey, we're going to inject $1 trillion into the global economy. And then New Zealand, who had 0 COVID cases, accidentally let 2 COVID people into New Zealand. And then, so they freaked out and now are dealing with to get the 2 people under control and make sure that they didn't infect everybody. So they got down to like 0 cases and now pop back up at 2. And for the United States, we are still averaging over 20,000 cases a day. And that, yeah, I would agree, the fatality rate on this thing is under 1%, but you're still talking about 377 million Americans. So what we're trying to do is save lives here. And I'm still skeptical on the incubation period of the virus. Like, my guess would be that before it shows symptoms, and it only shows symptoms in some people, would be 8 days to 24 days. And from the research I've done on, like, the Spanish flu of 1918, the second wave, which is technically in the next year, or the year after 1919, was worse. It was stronger than the first wave. And so we're still in the first wave, and we've not been handling it well. And so I've been telling people, hey, man, we're probably going back into lockdown. And they just announce it. They don't give you a ton of warning. And so I've been saying that we're going back. My guess was in September. That was a couple months ago. But now that we've handled it so piss poorly, it could happen any moment, because it really happens on a state by state, almost town by city basis. Except like Texas, where like Abbott's kind of in control and hasn't given the states a lot of leeway at the moment. Anywho. And so Tim Ballasty, the Irish Eagle, was like, I'm having one of those pessimistic days regarding the pandemic. This hovering gray cloud will be with us well into 2021. Ugh, this all sucks. And as your planetary defense commander, I always say prepare for the worst case scenario, pray for the best. Worst case scenario here, in a reasonable sense, is it lasts till 2023. Because most pandemics last for multiple years. And so I know no one wants to hear that, but they're trying to put together baseball games and football games for the upcoming 2020 season, which I said was ridiculous. I said that months ago. Anyway, and then a bunch of the players turned out, or several, which is enough to cause you to change your game, tested positive in the Major League Baseball and the NFL. So, we're dealing with a multiple year plague society. So it's like we got 45 million unemployed, plus a limited number of available remote jobs, plus weak social safety nets, plus a broken political system, plus divided public hostile towards each other, plus a plague that lasts 2 to 3 years. And then everything else, every other problem around that, right now we're going to need some serious divine intervention. And hopefully that will lead to some type of teamwork among all the nations and the Americas and the United States of Americans, which seems like, we're not that united, but. And then somewhere at the very end of 2018, I put us on a 4 to 5 year volcano earthquake alert, where I have said there's a 95% chance we will see a major earthquake in the Americas, Mexico, Canada, United States. I mean, California, Oregon, Washington. Volcano eruption, possible. Big earthquake, possible. For the year, we still got 6 months to go. And all the planets are about to be on the exact same side of the solar system, which is a pretty dang rare occurrence, bro. And so we are watching the west coast of the United States, specifically for volcano eruptions, because it happens. And the last time a volcano erupted in the United States of America was, in the lower 48, was in California in 1915. And then you go back 200 more years, they had 11 volcanoes erupting all up and down the coast, in the volcano range. Anyway, my point here is, I'm getting to it, that I've had us on this volcano watch, and technically the volcano watch is for everybody. And so we are getting these new videos coming in where it floods hail. Like, it hails so much, it's rivers of flood. The first time I can remember it happening was in Mexico. Was it last year? Mexico City, they had giant hail that flooded everything. And I've been watching the videos like a hawk for like 7 years. And so I'd never seen hail floods in my time of covering this stuff as Planetary Defense Commander. So now we've had it happen. This is Italy. Italy has volcanoes. And the other place I'd seen it happen was Mexico. Mexico has volcanoes. And then we just had a week ago, 5 days ago, we had the Ontario Alberta storm where it flooded so much, it created hail floods. So I noticed all three of the hail flood places, because hail flood is new, are volcano regions. And so was that a signal that we may get volcanic or earthquake activity up in Canada? I don't know, but I did want to point it out. You know? And so, yeah, it's THORnews. I'm asking you to wear a mask indoors. You know? And it's not up for debate. I'm pretty sure the numbers are going to get worse, whether it takes another week or another 2 weeks. We're going to get rolling lockdowns again. And so, just like we saw in that video in Beijing, when it happens, they may overcorrect and compensate. So everybody, including myself, needs to be making preparations for shit. If we go into lockdown again, was I ready? How ready was I? You know? And here was the New York trends. And the New York trends, after losing 800 people in a single day to the virus, have gone way better. Way better. Even with almost 2 weeks of protesting happening. Although I still think we need to wait one more week on how much the protesting affects. But I think the reason that the numbers have stayed low in New York is because New York probably has the highest belief that the coronavirus is totally real and it's much worse than the flu rate of all the USA, which probably leads to a much higher mask wearing rate. And so that is why their numbers are doing well. But like I said, we're only, as Americans, we are only like 3.5 months into this, which is not a lot of time to have specific ideas or specific definitive concrete facts on a variable virus that changes and can mutate and have different strains. And it seems to react differently in human beings to factors that we don't fully know yet. And so Texas just set a new rate for hospitalizations for COVID. That's not even cases, that's hospitalizations. That, yes, cases will come higher from a lot of testing. And so the main numbers that will give us the real clues will be hospitalizations and deaths. And there's going to be I think a 8-day to 24-day lag on that. And then there is, if there are any number fudging going on, I have always thought they fudge numbers to make them look smaller, not bigger, because this problem is hitting India and Brazil super hard right now. Like, I think Brazil lost like 2,000 people yesterday in one day. So in India's, their numbers were astronomically up there after them not a couple months ago not having any cases. They got hit late, but now they're getting hit hard. And then we got this eclipse coming up. We got Mercury going retrograde tomorrow. Then we got this eclipse coming up on the 21st with scientists recalculating the Mayan date, saying it actually takes place on the 21st. So like the world's supposed to end on the 21st. So we got 4 days left to save the world, Asteroid Fight Club. And then like 10% of me is like still like, hey, if you were one of the 21 crushes I've had or talked about in length in over the last 5 years, if you want to go on a date before the world ends, that would be wonderful. And this is the cutoff flow from North Carolina. So yeah, in my state, in the last 24 hours, hospitalizations have surged 11%. Hospitalizations. And so this is me trying to help my fellow Texans. And so I believe, definitely at this point, people who have been telling people it's a hoax or you don't need to worry about it or it's a flu or anything other than that, like they've been putting my fellow Texans' life in danger by putting out bad, shitty information. While I've been consistent all year and put out as good information as anyone out there. And the Confederacy didn't last that long, man. You know, NSYNC lasted longer than the Confederacy. Michelangelo painting The Last Judgment on the Sistine Chapel landed longer than the Confederacy. The character Fred Figglehorn lasted longer than the Confederacy. And Heinz colored ketchups lasted longer than the Confederacy. So yeah, I think we have to wait another week before they start to release the scary COVID numbers. The Bank of Japan just pumped $1 trillion, although whatever they use their currency. And the new Wall Street coronavirus miracle steroid story from yesterday means that the pump is still on, while if you look at like GDP numbers or travel numbers, like the actual data is still scary, getting scarier. And we lost a Air Force pilot, Kenneth Cage Allen, died in a training mission. And so this would be our third Air Force plane crash in 2020. But fly on, pilot. We will meet you in heaven someday. Ed Gonzalez, who's a sheriff in Houston. Happy midweek, everyone. Today is a good day to have a good day. Remember your purpose, work on yourself, and fulfill it. When we remain positive, good things tend to happen. And that is the Texas spirit, man. And, I mean, Texans don't sit around the whole time going like, yeah, bad guys are going to steamroll our buttholes with their master plans, and there's nothing we can do about it. Anywho, someone asked on Twitter, hey, what were you doing the day in history when O.J. Simpson was led on that slow speed chase in a Bronco? And I can remember I was sitting in a bar in College Station with Jeff, Max, Bo, Brent, and Shannon. Oh, I forgot the blonde's name. We were drinking Flamin' Dr. Peppers, and I was watching the screen going, what? Wait, I can't. Wait, am I this drunk? What do you mean? O.J. Simpson is in a Bronco being chased by the police. Release the what is going? What? It didn't, And just 10 weeks before, what I believe was a super turning point to where we went to a divide and conquer system, was Kurt Cobain got murdered. But leading from like 88 to 94, up until Kurt Cobain got murdered, the whole world seemed to be headed totally in the right place. Where, that, like, all the things that we argue about today, in like 1994, from 1988 to 94, we were all naturally headed to a world peace, people working, living together, making better, cool things. Like on your television, you got Friends, Cheers, Frasier, Seinfeld for free every Thursday. You got like 2 hours of solid laughs for free on your TV every Thursday. Yeah. And like and all those shows were centered around, at the time you had In Living Color, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Martin Show, and they were all centered around good families, good friends, good families, being friends. And it was like you had big events happening, everything like the world was hitting at its peak, and then Kurt Cobain died, O.J. Chase, Tupac died, Biggie died, then sperm on the blue dress, impeachment, Bill Clinton, 24-hour news cycle to where the news cycle then controlled the narrative. Hey, 100 years before, you had the 1918 plague. And so now we got a plague breaking out when the people who are boosting the stock markets every day control the narrative. But it seems like they got caught flat-footed by the plague, man. I know a lot of people are going to say they didn't. But, yeah, if you're watching all the countries, all the groups, how everyone's reacting to it, it doesn't seem like there was a master plan. And if it did, it would be coming from Silicon Valley. Because they are the ones who have definitely benefited. The Amazons, the Googles, the Microsoft. Okay, so this is your update, but things are crazy, and I would definitely take the virus very seriously and be ready for lockdowns. They may say now lockdowns aren't coming back, but don't believe them. At any point in time, they can flip the script and be like, hey, we changed our mind. And they can say you can't drive here. You watch what they do. And Reed Timmer just got hacked. And then Kurt Loder got hacked early. It's about to get weird, man. So I would stay on the cool team with the cool people who want to work towards a peaceful future. We'll get there by working together, but there are definitely some dark forces at work across energetic levels in our civilization. So do your best to be a good guy or good gal and stabilize civilization. Yeah. All right. Stay cool. I'll keep you guys posted. Talk to you soon. God bless everyone. May the force be with us always. And let us live long and prosper together.